hello and welcome to the session on District Primary Education Program or DPEP. Education is a process of human enlightenment and empowerment. It helps in the achievement of a better and high quality life. Education is a potential instrument of social change and national development. The economic conditions of a country largely depend on the educational standards of its people. Education has therefore accorded an honoured place in the life and culture of India. Primary education occupies significance in the reconstruction of a developing country. Investing in education and especially primary education is the key to shaping the future in an increasingly interdependent world. It takes careful planning and a long term commitment to enhance the place of education in national development of a country. Education is not only the fulfillment of a basic human right, but also the bridge towards slower population growth, higher economic productivity and a more peaceful and democratic society of a country. Because basic learning needs are complex and diverse, meeting them requires multi-sectorial strategies and actions. Basic education should be seen as a responsibility of the entire society. So, there should be active involvement of wide range of partners like government and non-government organizations and other institutions to help all the educational authorities, teachers and educational personnel for its development and for planning, managing and evaluating the many forms of basic education. The 1990s are considered as a decade in which new global ethic for children began to emerge. The World Conference on Education for All was conducted in Jomtien, Thailand in 1990. It was the global platform of proclaiming the urgent need for action to redress the denial of basic education to intolerably large number of children worldwide. About 155 countries and 150 organizations participated in the event and agreed to universalize primary education and massively reduce illiteracy by the end of the decade. The Convention on the Rights of the Child came into effect in September 1990. It suggested free and compulsory primary education as an obligation of the state and the right of the children. Since then, over 150 countries have ratified the convention. The first global summit meeting, the World Summit for Children, established a range of social developmental goals like universal access to primary education. Between December 12th and 16th of 1993, the world's 9 most populous countries Bangladesh, Brazil, China, Egypt, India, Indonesia, Mexico, Nigeria and Pakistan, representing over half of the global population and 75% of its illiterates, came together in Delhi, which culminated in the Education for All or EFA summit. At the end of the meeting, they unanimously adopted the Delhi Declaration and a framework for action pledging to universalize primary education for all. Despite differing cultures and historical legacies, these countries had recognized that education was at the heart of sustainable development. The policy declaration called for providing basic education facilities for every child and consolidating efforts towards basic education for every children, youth and adults. Article 45 of the Constitution of India states that the state shall endeavour to provide within a period of 10 years from the commencement of the Constitution for free and compulsory education for all children until they complete the age of 14 years. In order to achieve education for all, so many initiatives and attempts have been made by the Government of India right from its independence. One such important initiative is the promulgation of the National Policy of Education or NPE in 1986. It laid stress on the need for a radical reconstruction of the education system and to improve its quality at all stages. The main objective of the NPE was to establish a national system of education for all students irrespective of caste, creed, sex and religion. The NPE resolved that free and compulsory education of satisfactory and comparable quality should be provided to all children up to 14 years of age before the 21st century. The NPE also specified that universalization of elementary education or UEE had three aspects: universal access and enrollment, universal retention of children up to 14 years of age, a substantial improvement in quality of education to enable all children to achieve essential levels of learning. After this, a committee was set up under the chairmanship of Acharya Ramamurthy in May 1990 to review the NPE and make recommendations for its modifications. Later, the Central Advisory Board of Education constituted another committee in July 1991 under the chairmanship of Sri N. Janardhan Reddy, Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, to make some modifications in NPE taking into considerations the report of the Ramamurthy committee. This committee submitted its report in January 1992, which is known as National Program of Action or POA of 1992. The main aim of the policy was to promote national progress, a sense of common citizenship and culture, and to strengthen national integration. Within the educational sector, elementary education has been given the highest priority. Several schemes have been launched by the central government to meet the needs of the educationally disadvantaged and for strengthening the social infrastructure for education, with education guarantee scheme and alternative and innovative education or EGS and AIE, Operation Blackboard or OBB, Mahila Samkhya, Lok Jumbish, teacher education, midday meal scheme, Shiksha Karmi project or SKP, Janashala, etc. The NPE of 1986 as updated in 1992 and PAOA of 1992 reaffirmed the national commitment to universalization of elementary education. In keeping with this, a new initiative to achieve UEE was formulated called the District Primary Education Program or DPEP. District Primary Education Program or DPEP. The guidelines of the District Primary Education Program were formulated in April 1993. In December 1993, the Cabinet accorded its approval. District Primary Education Program is a centrally sponsored scheme of the Government of India, fully approved by the Planning Commission in the year 1994. DPP was launched as a major initiative to revitalize the primary education system and to achieve the objective of universalization of primary education. The DPP was, of course, the major response to Jomteen 1990. The DPP called for an integrated and decentralized approach to the development of education, especially in the primary level, with a focus on building capacities, particularly at the district and sub-district level. The aim of the program was also to strengthen the capacity of national, state and district institutions and organizations for the planning, management and evaluation of primary education. DPP was an attempt to initiate process of planning from the grassroots. Each district in the state had to identify their needs and formulate a plan. The state intervened to provide them proper support. The program had drawn inspiration from the experiences India had earlier, such as the Bihar Education Project, Lok Jumbish Project, Andhra Pradesh Primary Education Project, etc. Main objectives of DPP: to provide all children with primary education either in formal system or through alternative schooling centers or ASC, to complete 5 years of primary education with quality, to emphasize on gender and social equity by encouraging SC, ST and girls to join schools, to provide reading materials and free textbooks to all SC, ST and general girls, to promote girls education in each state, to reduce gap among gender groups, to reduce gap among the socially disadvantaged groups, to increase the average learning achievement levels of primary school students by 25%, to reduce differences in enrollment and dropout among gender and social groups by 5%, to reduce overall primary dropout rates by 10%, to ensure the achievement of basic literacy and numeracy competencies, to enhance capacities of teachers by providing workshops for teachers, to produce new teaching learning materials to improve student achievement of learning, to build administrative capacity at district and block levels, to obtain genuine community involvement in the running of schools, to build empowerment and capacity building at the local level, to redesign access to and entrance of schools to facilitate trouble-free movement, to provide financial help to SC and ST children, to start community mobilization through parent-teacher meetings. DPP involved elaborate management structures both at the center and state level. The DPP was implemented in a mission mode through registered state level autonomous societies. Each society had two organs: a general council with the chief minister as ex officio president, an executive committee under the chairmanship of chief secretary or education secretary of the state. Both the bodies deliberated on policy issues, approval of project plans and guidelines respectively. A bureau was created in the Department of Education, Ministry of HRD, Government of India for the implementation of DPP. This bureau was accountable to the project board and general council for implementation of the programs. The bureau was supported by a technical support group. It consisted of 12 staffs with professional personnel to provide support to the bureau. The support group provided professional support and technical assistance to the DPP. The plans of DPP was formulated and implemented with active participation of the community, NGOs, teachers and educationalists. Adequate representation was given all the groups in the management of the project at all levels like the state, district, block and village. At the district level, DPP had established a separate project office headed by a district project officer to plan and implement district specific schemes suited to local conditions. Similarly, at the block and panchayat levels, DPP had appointed block and cluster level coordinators. A committee of people's representatives at the village level called as Village Education Committees or VECs was formed. The VECs were headed by the village pradhan. The head teacher of the school was its ex officio secretary. The district projects of the program was prepared in 42 districts which spread over the states of Assam, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Funding of the DPP. Prior to 1990 in India, there were a few large scale foreign funded projects in education. UNICEF and the ILO had funded some non-formal education centers in India. To name a few, the Andhra Pradesh Primary Education Program or APPEP was funded by the ODA, now called DFID UK. The Shiksha Karmi was carried out with Dutch funding and Lok Jumbish with the funding from SIDA. Such a degree of dependence on foreign aid for providing the basic educational needs of the masses was quite unthinkable even a few years back. After 1990, the Government of India started accepting funds from external agencies for elementary education in the form of loans. The World Bank is India's largest creditor. The DPP was rightly seen by the international funding agencies as the flagship of India's new education policy. The World Bank had advised that initially the program should cover villages where the female literacy rate was below the national average of 39.2% as computed in the 1991 census. DPP was also assisted by the European Commission, Department for International Development DFID of the United Kingdom, the Netherlands and the United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund or UNICEF. The DPP was an externally aided project. 85% of the project cost was met by the central government and the remaining 15% was to be shared by the concerned state government. The central government's share was resourced through external assistance. The funds were released from the Government of India to the state level societies when required. DPP in the Indian context. Education has become a gigantic public enterprise, accounting for considerable amount of public investment in India. India has one of the largest networks of primary schools in the world. Planning and managing such a large and expanding system was a major challenge that India faced. Realizing this fact, public policy measures in India in the recent past have been directed towards decentralization of planning and management of primary education. District Primary Education Program was the most recent effort in this direction. The DPP in its conceptualization took into account the educational context in India, the resource context in India, the planning context in India. The educational context. The educational context in India had expanded to a very huge scale after its independence. During the inception of the DPP, 95% of rural population had primary education. Number of primary schools and non-formal education centers had increased. The enrollment ratio in primary schools had also increased. It was interesting to note that additional investment to improve access benefited only a few, but marginalized groups in India. Similarly, investments to improve retention benefited large groups and investment to improve quality of education benefited almost everybody covered by primary education system. Consequently, the pressure on public policy was to shift investments that benefit everybody. The measures taken in this direction were the following: the minimal level of learning or MLL to be achieved by the primary school children, the Operation Blackboard scheme to ensure minimum facilities in school, establishment of district institutes of education and training or DIET to improve teacher competency and teaching learning process, decentralization of educational planning and management. The resource context. Some of the recent trends in the allocation of resources to education had positively contributed to the programs of primary education. An increase in investments in adult education and increase in plan allocation to primary education had helped in improving and maintaining the growth rates in primary education. The increased priority in public funding to primary education also had helped in arresting the continuously eroding resource base of primary education. It was thought that the external funding under the DPP might further help to increase base to primary education. The planning context. Primary education is a state funded activity in India. Educational planning in India was an integral part of the overall economic planning. Hence, the effort towards decentralization of educational planning was to be seen in the context of changes in the overall planning process. DPP tried to facilitate a process of decentralized planning in India. How did DPP decentralize educational planning? The DPP promoted decentralized planning in education. The efforts made under DPP to effect decentralized planning in education was broadly classified into the following: creating the facilitating conditions, initiating the planning process, developing planning competencies, creating facilitating conditions. The sources of funding under DPP were varied, but the approach to planning was uniform across all the districts. The guidelines of the program only ensure that the plans were to be prepared within the framework of national concerns and priorities. The district plans prepared under DPP showed that the plans vary across the district in terms of priorities, strategies and programs adopted in each district. DPP ensured proper funding for programs in the district level. Each district was allocated a maximum of rupees 400 million. Assurance of resources had improved, possibilities of developing district specific plans with local specific intervention strategies. The district plans were developed by constituting core groups consisting of people from other departments, professionals from resource organizations and NGOs, and representatives from public through a process of mutual understanding. Professional support to the planning process was also ensured under the program. Since the planning process was elaborate, there was need for technical inputs which was not available at the district level. This was provided through constituting a national core team which had 12 core groups, each representing an area of specialization. These groups were headed by a specialist group also. Since educational planning was to be carried out in schools, the schools were made active by providing a limited amount annually to improve its facilities. The plans were modified at each stage of its implementation. This approach helped the district authorities scope for experimenting and initiating activities of its own. Initiating the planning process. The planning process under the program had two dimensions: professional and technical, participatory. The process to professionalize planning process was done through the support from the core groups, support from state and district level resource organizations, and plan preparation by DPP planning core groups both at state and district level. Participatory process in DPP meant the participation by other departments to ensure convergence of services at the micro level, participation by elected representatives of the local bodies such as panchayats and Jilla Parishads, participation of educational functionaries at different levels, participation by academic and resource organizations to provide technical and professional input to plan the preparation process, and participation of the general public including parents. Developing planning competencies. DPP envisaged building capacity in planning and management of primary education in the country. Capacity building exercise that took place under the program was classified into the following: planning, research, improvement in pedagogical skills, program management, and monitoring. To improve the pedagogical skills and teacher competency, the DPP provided pre-service training to teachers through SCRTs and diets. Since these institutions were not enough to provide training on a regular basis, the DPP envisaged setting up of block resource centers or BRCs. A separate society was envisaged for faster implementation of the programs under DPP. This society ensured local flexibility, quick flow of funds, wider representation, and local decision making. Another area where capacity needed to be built was the area of program supervision. DPP envisaged developing domestic capacity to monitor and supervise educational programs. For this, a plan was developed and one of the national level institutes had taken up the responsibility of organizing regular programs to develop supervisory capacity. Major achievements of DPP. DPP aimed at operationalizing the strategies for achieving UEE through district specific planning and disaggregated target setting in low female literacy districts. It also depended on successful total literacy campaign or TLC, which had created a favorable climate for universalization. The major achievements of DPP are: DPP had so far opened more than 1,60,000 new schools, including almost 84,000 alternative schooling or AS centers. The AS centers cover nearly 3.5 million children. Another 2 lakh children are covered by bridge courses of different types. The percentage of enrollment of girls in primary education had improved. The infrastructure of the schools under DPP was remarkable. DPP had catered to construction of new school buildings, additional classrooms, toilets, drinking water facilities, etc. It has also taken care of repair works in many schools. Village education committees or VECs and school management committees have been set up in almost all project villages. Many teachers, including para teachers, had been appointed. More teachers were appointed, that is, at least 2 per school and ensuring their better training. Many resource centers at block level and cluster level had been set up for providing academic support and teacher training facilities. Teachers were given refresher cum booster courses, English training and special coaching classes to improve the quality of education. Training and financial grant were provided for preparing and using teaching learning materials for imparting experiential education. All the teachers working in primary classes were provided with the grant of rupees 500 every year for purchasing teaching material. All schools were provided with rupees 2000 to improve the infrastructural facilities. Non-formal education centers were formed through which dropouts or late starters were trained. Conclusion: there are so many reasons for the success of district primary education program in our country. In order to provide greater access to primary education and to ensure that children out of the school system get enrolled, a number of interventions were planned and inputs were provided under DPEP. DPEP had well defined goals and activities and they were taken up for implementation in a time bound manner. It had assigned clear cut responsibilities to all agencies. Smooth flowing of funds is another important factor for its success. The program also had a regular system of evaluation and monitoring system. The focus of each plan of the program varied depending upon the level of the development of primary education in the selected district. One of the reasons for the failure of decentralized efforts to develop operational plans at the district level in India was the lack of planning competencies at the district level. DPEP envisaged the planning responsibility to be undertaken entirely by the people at the district level. The planning methodologies were simplified and were easily understandable by the people at the district level. What sets DPEP apart from earlier attempts at UEE is the effort towards demand based interventions, systematic planning, empowerment and accountability at all levels. To get an overview of the progress of DPEP in every area, subject specialists and experts visited frequently to all states and districts. Let us summarize what we have discussed so far. Primary education occupies significance in the reconstruction of a developing country. Investing in education and especially primary education is the key to shaping the future in an increasingly interdependent world. Basic education should be seen as a responsibility of the entire society. Article 45 of the Constitution of India states, the state shall endeavour to provide within a period of 10 years from the commencement of the Constitution for free and compulsory education for all children until they complete the age of 14 years. In order to achieve education for all, so many initiatives and attempts have been made by the Government of India right from its independence. Several schemes have been launched by the central government to meet the needs of the educationally disadvantaged and for strengthening the social infrastructure for education. Some of the schemes are Education Guarantee Scheme and Alternative and Innovative Education or EGS and AIE, Operation Blackboard or OBB, Mahila Samkhya, Log Jumbish, Teacher Education, Midday Meal Scheme, Shiksha Karmi Project or SKP, Janashala, etc. The NPE of 1986 as updated in 1992 and POA of 1992 reaffirm the national commitment to universalization of elementary education. In keeping with this, an initiative to achieve UEE was formulated called the District Primary Education Program or DPEP. DPEP was launched as a major initiative to revitalize the primary education system and to achieve the objective of universalization of primary education. The main objectives of this program, various components of the program, its funding etc. is discussed in detail in this unit. The major achievements of the DPEP are also mentioned in this unit. Now, you can try to answer the questions given here. What led to the formation of the district primary education program in India. What all factors were taken into account while conceptualizing DPP in India? How did district primary education program decentralize the educational planning? What are the major achievements of district primary education program? What are the main objectives of the DPP? For your reference, you can go through the books listed here. In the Wake of Freedom, India's Tryst with Cooperatives, written by S.P. Agarwal and Jagadish Chand Agarwal, published by Concept Publishing Company, New Delhi in the year 1997. Elementary Education, written by Dr. B.B. Rao, published by APH Publishing Corporation, New Delhi in the year 2008. District Primary Education Program, written by Digmurti Bhaskar Rao, published by Discovery Publishing House, New Delhi in the year 1998. Development of Education in India by S.P. Agarwal and Jagadish Chand Agarwal, published by Concept Publishing Company, New Delhi 1997. Thank you for watching this program. We will meet again with another topic. Till then, take care.